What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, Under Center with Abelson, presented by the Real Spiel podcast. We are back. Round one, first round of the college football playoffs are in the books. Some stuff that happened that we predicted, some stuff that happened that we didn't predict, but we will get into all that. Before we do, though, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. As always, we are here a couple times a week talking all things college football, and we are in the meat of the season, college football playoffs. So make sure you do not want to miss any of the content that we are putting out. So with all that being said, let's get into it. The first game we're going to talk about today is, I think, it was personally my favorite game and the most exciting game. Probably not the most exciting, but it was definitely the game that, going into the college football playoffs first round, was the game that I wanted to talk about and watch the most. That was Miami versus Texas A&M. This was, if I thought this game was going to go how it went, I did not think this game was going to go how it went. Let me say that. Obviously, these are two tough, physical teams who can run the ball, who have guys in the trenches, and that's how it played out. But if you would have told me that the winner of this game would have had 10 points and they would have scored that 10 point in the last minute and a half of the game, I would not have believed you. Would not have believed you. Granted, I didn't think this was going to be like an offensive shootout. Just because I think both of these defenses are extremely good, but I just did not think this is going to be the way the game went. But we were right. We did pick Miami. We did pick them to cover the spread. I like them to win outright. I just think they are kind of just a better team than Texas A&M. In our preview, what we really discussed was, is Texas A&M for real? Like, they played the bottom 7 teams in the SEC this year. The bottom 7. And the one team above that they played was Texas, and they lost. And that really just opened up a lot of things for me. That way they lost that game against Texas, they were getting pushed around. Texas was able to run all over them. And this game, it had a lot of that. Obviously, to a lesser degree with, the score and just all the stuff that happened. But, Miami, I think they have top 4 offensive and defensive line combination, like, combined in the country. Like, maybe Ohio State. I'm trying to think of teams who combine, like, separately. You can say what you want, but I think the combination of their offensive line and defensive line both together, it's easily a top 5 group in the country. And it was on full display. I will say, this game was ugly. For most of the game, it just felt like both teams were just trying to give the other one, opportunities. Another thing we talked about was how the quarterback who plays the cleaner game was going to be the quarterback that won, and I wholeheartedly believe that. We discussed in our preview how these are two quarterbacks who, when things are going good, they're fine, they're good players. But when things are going bad, they're really bad. Obviously, we saw Carson Beck back-to-back games versus SMU and Louisville look or not back-to-back, but you know what I mean. Through 6 picks in those 2 games alone. Marcel Reed, he's had multiple games this year with multiple interceptions. This game against Miami was his, I think, 3rd or 4th game this year where he had 2 or more interceptions. That theory came to show, the quarterback who played the cleaner game was the quarterback who won. Carson Beck, he didn't play amazing by any standpoint. He wasn't out there just killing it. He struggled a little bit. He went 14 for 20. He had 103 yards. He didn't really throw. He forward tipped pass to Tony for that touchdown, which, since it's a forward pass, it's a touchdown, but he didn't throw for the touchdown per se. But again, Carson Beck didn't play great. He had early in the game. Both defenses were just, absolutely lights out. If you're a defensive guy, this was a masterclass of how to play defense. Both sides early in the game, just not giving an inch, getting after it, hitting, being physical. And I mean, the quarterbacks really struggled early. The quarterbacks really struggled. Like I was saying about Carson Beck, threw for only 100 yards, 14 and 20. But the thing is, he didn't throw for a turnover. He missed a couple plays, threw a couple bad balls, but didn't put the ball in harm's way. And you really can't say the same about Marcel Reed. And that's really the difference. I mean, both teams had miscues, but Texas A&M's miscues were more, flagrant or whatever word you want to use than Miami's miscues. Miami's miscues were just a couple missed field goals. A couple missed field goals that could have came back to bite them, but Texas A&M, I mean, you had that fumble on Marcel Reed where he got strip sacked. They also did miss a field goal. Then obviously in the third quarter, he had that interception where he just overthrew the receiver. It was just a bad throw, overthrew the receiver, interception. And then obviously on the final drive, after Miami takes the 10-3 lead, they're marching down the field. They get helped with a terrible, terrible, what was it? Personal foul, late hit call. I I thought it was going to be just like SMU all over again, where Miami needs to get a stop. They get a personal foul, a dumb personal foul call, which I thought that was just a bad soft call. Like he was like a step late. I thought that shouldn't have been called, but then they move the ball up. They get in the red zone, and they are literally knocking on the doorsteps. I thought it was going to be another Mario Cristobal disaster. Shout out to what was it, number 8 Thomas, who completely just like put his body on the line to was it the second down where second down he threw it to Moss in the middle and Moss caught it and so the number 8 just met him at the point of catch and just completely knocked himself out. But that was the game saving play. Like that would have been a touchdown. And then obviously the very next throw, Reed again another bad pass. He threw it late. He threw it behind the tight end, and the defender was able to get in position to intercept the ball, and that was the game. Um, that's kind of Marcel Reed in a nutshell, man. I've talked highly about him this year about how he's made drastic improvements in his development compared to where he was at last year when he got thrusted into the lineup. This year he doesn't necessarily run because he has to. He kind of runs because he wants to. His just arm has been just again so much improvement with his decision making. Again, he's still a second year starter. There's moments all year where he's made mistakes. 2 interceptions against LSU, 2 interceptions against what you would call it, 2 interceptions against South Carolina. So like he does still make the mistakes, but I thought overall as a player he's shown so much improvement this year. But when you are prone to make bad decisions, they can come back and bite you. And when you're playing a defense as good as Miami's defense, they came back to bite them. But yeah, I mean the story of this game, again, both defenses played well, but the story of this game was Miami's defense and I think the struggles of Marcel Reed. Because again, you have 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and a pick and a fumble. Like this game could have been so much worse. That's what like those interceptions could have been so costly. The fact that Miami missed 3 field goals, that's 9 points, and then the fact that off those 3 turnovers, I think Miami only scored once, and that was like a field goal they got. No, they didn't even score once. I don't even think Miami scored off any of those turnovers because they got into field goal position after the interception, but the kicker missed it. But I mean, there's so many stories. There's so many areas that we could go in this game. Like just the miscues. Obviously, I said the fumble and the 2 interceptions by Marcel Reed. The Texas A&M kicker got his kick blocked because he kicked it low. And then Miami, they didn't play a perfect game. They had the 3 missed field goals. But like I said earlier, Miami's miscues weren't as drastic. You can live with a missed field goal. I know that's points off the board, but you can live with a missed field goal, especially in a game like this where you feel both offenses can't really get things going. Both defenses are playing incredibly well. In those type of games, the team to make the mistake first is typically the team that loses. And that's kind of how this game went. Texas A&M just made more mistakes than Miami did, and they ended up losing. So yeah, and again, like that Miami defense, Ruben Baines, he had 3 sacks. Akeem Mesidor, he had 2 sacks. They had what? 5 sacks as a team, 2 interceptions, just tackling, hitting hard. Miami, they are a serious team in the trenches. Mario Cristobal, year 4, he's been building this team up. He's really been building this team up, and they are legit in the trenches. So you shout out to Miami, man. Played a really, really great game. They are on, they are on to play Ohio State, man. They play Ohio State, and if they're and let me not forget about Mark Fletcher in the offensive line. The offensive line was moving people. He ran for what, a buck 70. That possession that set up the touchdown late, where he just busted loose for 50 yards. He ran for another first down on that last play. If Miami's offensive line and running game can play like that, and their defense can play like that, I think they can beat legit any team. I really do. I really, really do. Because we'll talk about this when we preview the next round games, but Ohio State, we saw them get pushed around. We saw them get pushed around by Indiana, and I think Miami has a better trench play than Indiana, offensive and defensive line. So it's been proven that Ohio State is not invincible and they're not unstoppable, and they are able to be stopped. But again, we'll talk about that when we get to the previews. But yeah, shout out Miami, first time making the playoffs. Oh, and what about the Notre Dame people? What about the Notre Dame people? Because all I've been hearing from Notre Dame fans is, oh, don't let Miami lose. Don't let them get blown out in the first round. Don't let them. Oh, if they do, they definitely didn't deserve to be in. What about out? Did they deserve to be in over you? Because they just beat a team that you guys lost to earlier in the year. You guys lost to Texas A&M earlier in the year. Miami beat y'all, and they beat the team that y'all lost to. So, like, if you're gonna keep that energy about, oh, if Miami loses, then you better keep that same energy when they win. Not that the outcome of a playoff game determines whether a team is supposed to be in it or not. That's a conversation for a different day. But yeah, shout out to Miami. Honestly, this is probably not going to be too long of an episode. Um, I just can't spend 30 minutes on these group of 5 games. I'm sorry. I'm not a group of 5 hater, and I do not want to disrespect the group of 5. But let's just knock this out. Let's just knock this out right now. Ole Miss dominating win over Tulane. They handled them. Oregon dominating win over JMU. If you're box watching, if you're looking at the score, you probably didn't think so, but Oregon was up by 30 in the first half. Last time I checked the score, it was 27-3, and then they scored again to make it 31-3. Halftime, put the second strings, third strings in, whatever you want to call them, third, fourth strings in. JMU gets some points on the board. Whatever. I don't care that JMU scored 30. I do not care. That game was not close. That game was not competitive. And JMU is a good team, relatively speaking. So their starters are probably going to be a little bit better than Oregon's third 3 deeps, 3 and 4 deeps. So we'll get that out of the way. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on that because those aren't really games that we learned anything from. There was really nothing to learn from those games. I will say we were wrong about the pick before that Oregon game. We did have Oregon minus, 20.5, and obviously JMU covered. They lost by 17. So we did go 2-2. We did go 2 for 2. We had Miami plus 3.5. We had Ole Miss minus 17.5. We had we were wrong about Bama. We did take Oklahoma, which we're about to get into, which Oklahoma. And then we were also wrong about JMU and Oregon. So it is what it is. You can't really, game plan for a team putting in, which I figured Oregon would be up a decent amount and they'd probably start playing, their backups. But I mean, when you completely clear the bench, like, there's not much you can do about that. There's not much. But yeah, as far as Alabama and Oklahoma, man, this is a game where it just felt like my whole analysis about this was just completely spot on. until it wasn't, man. Until it wasn't. I mean, I first and foremost, I just don't think Alabama's a really good team. I really don't. I think they are going to get creamed by Indiana. Like I think Indiana's going to win by double digits. I really do. I like Alabama is not a good team, and it really showed in that game, like against Oklahoma. I don't think Alabama won that game. I think Oklahoma lost that game because Oklahoma they got out to a quick 17-0 lead. Defense is getting pressure on Ty Simpson. Like I talked about in my preview, if you get pressure on Ty Simpson, this Oklahoma defense, they had the ability to. I thought it was going to kind of be a repeat defensively of the first game. And in the first half, in the first quarter and a half, it was. Ty Simpson was looking uncomfortable. They were getting pressure on him, getting home on him a couple times. He was missing throws. I mean, Bama went 3 and out on their first 3 possessions, and they didn't get their first down until 9 minutes left. Yeah, Bama with the first down. Bama didn't get their first down till 9 minutes left in the third quarter. In the third quarter. Wait, no, that can't be right. That can't be right, man. That can't be right. Because they scored 17-0. They scored a touchdown, a field goal. So, yeah, it was the second quarter. Bama didn't get their first down until 9 minutes left in the second quarter. Because it was tied at halftime. They had a touchdown in the second quarter and 17 and a half. But nonetheless, Oklahoma, again, they got up to a 17-0 lead. They were dominating the game. Again, like I just said, Alabama couldn't get a first down. They couldn't get the chains moving. Oklahoma's defense was flying around. And that is the best I've seen Oklahoma's offense play probably all year. Like maybe, definitely before John Mateer's hand was hurt. Like maybe the Michigan game, but even the Michigan game, it was, kind of more of like a gritty, gutty game. I think they scored 24 points. But that's like the best I've seen their offense play in so long. In the first half, outside of the one, or in the first quarter and a half, outside of the one overthrow that John Mateer had where the guy hit a quick out route and John Mateer just sailed the ball over his head. That was really the only bad play John Mateer had in that first quarter and a half. He was getting the ball out. He was connecting on his deep passes. Burke, he hit Burke 3 times in the first quarter alone. And he was using his legs. That first touchdown he ran for, was kind of juking a couple guys out and ran for the touchdown. And everything was going Oklahoma's way. Everything. Alabama couldn't do anything on offense. Oklahoma's offense, again, was playing the best I've seen it play in so long. Mateer was playing well. Just everything was going right. And then, it's just you run into a wall. You don't gradually slow down. They full on just flat out ran into a wall and everything changed. Everything changed. Alabama was able to get a field goal, and then the punter just drops the ball. He's going to punt. No pressure, drops the ball. It gets blown up. Alabama gets short field position. And then John Mateer throws a pick six. And then he throws a pick six. You can't do that. You can't do that. Right before the half, you just crossed your side of the field. You could have a chance to put your foot on their throats because at that point it was 17-10. Alabama, you could feel the momentum starting to shift after the blocked punt where the punter just drops the ball. You could feel it. But after that pick six, I was at dinner at the time. After that pick six, I literally said, Oklahoma's not going to win this game. I literally said Oklahoma was not going to win this game. I wholeheartedly believed in that moment that pick six changed everything. And I had absolutely no faith that Oklahoma was going to win. And they didn't. And from that point on, the second half on, the offense just went back to how the offense was all year. They couldn't get anything. Alabama's defense. Give credit to Alabama's defense because Alabama's defense did step up in that second half. I don't think they sacked. I think they might have sacked Mateer once, like in the first half, and they ended the game with 5 sacks. Like I'm pretty sure they had like 4 of those sacks in the second half alone. I remember at one point they had 2 on 1 possession in the second half, back to back. So the defense just stepped up for Alabama. The offense of Oklahoma just completely stalled. John Mateer missed a couple plays. There was that one where the number 24, I think, John Mateer, third down, extended the play. He hit him deep. He would have been wide open to run in the touchdown, and he just dropped the ball. And that's really how the story was. This was like true. Like I know the saying, "A tale of two halves." Like this is the type of game that saying was predicated upon. Like when they were, 100 years ago, whenever they were just frolicking around and whatever they were doing to make them come up with that phrase, that a game like this is probably what they were seeing when they came up with that phrase, because it was truly a tale of two halves for Oklahoma, and I think it all changed on that muffed punt and that pick six, and they were just never really able to recover. Never able to recover. But again, with me still saying I don't think Alabama's just that great of a team. You still have to get credit where credit is due. 17-0 on the road. You've been playing like complete ass over the last few weeks. Nothing is going right for you. You can't get a first down. Just nothing is going right for you. Your punter, like in the first half, like Alabama's punter couldn't even punt. His first 3 punts just completely shanked. 2 of them didn't even make them across the 50-yard line. So you were just setting up Oklahoma in great field position. And Ty Simpson was just running around, just doing what he did in the last few weeks of the season, just not playing well. And then the muffed punt or the punt drop, the pick six, everything changed. Everything started going right for Alabama in the second half. Everything started going wrong for Oklahoma in the second half. Because there was a punt in the second half where Oklahoma's punter punted it, and it literally landed on the 40-yard line. Bernard picked it up, ran it to their 35, and it's just like everything completely changed. Everything completely changed. Oklahoma's kicker, who's the best kicker in the country, he made before his first miss last night. He made the 51-yarder, which is insane, and then he missed the next 2. After the 51-yarder, he had up to that point made 24 straight kicks in a row. He was 7 for 7 on 50-yard kicks in college. Like that's almost unheard of. College kickers suck. We saw at the Miami Texas A&M game. College kickers just aren't that great, especially from deep. And this guy went 7 for 7, and then in that moment completely shit his pants. Obviously, you're down 10 points. You're running up against a 2-minute warning. You want to try and score before the 2-minute warning, even if it's a field goal, just to get it down to single digits. They tried the first time. It was wasn't it like a 38-yard chip shot? He missed it. And then they got the stop. They got the ball back again. And this one was from 51 yards this time. A place where he's been 7 for 7 all year. Hasn't missed a 50-yarder all year. And what happens? Try and cut it down to single digits again. He misses. And I don't know how that happens, man. I do not know how that happens. Oklahoma, you were right there. You guys played probably the best offensive half you had since before Texas. And all that for nothing. Such a shame, man. Such a shame. Oklahoma, though, shout out to, they did have a good year. Early, in the preseason, I said if Oklahoma went 9-3, they could have probably made the playoffs with the schedule that it looked to be in the preseason. Obviously, Missouri and LSU turned out to not be, that great towards the end of the season. But for them to make the playoffs 10-2 with that schedule, I don't think you have a reason to be kicking yourself. Obviously, you wanted the game to go a different way, especially when you're spotted 17 points, but it didn't. So you got a lot of young guys, man. Burke's a young guy. I think Mateer has another year of eligibility. He'll probably end up coming back so he can get a full healthy season. There's some stuff to be happy about if you're an Oklahoma fan. This is not Brent Venables was likely on the hot seat coming into the season. He was most likely going to be on the hot seat. If he had a terrible year again, he would have probably got canned, probably. But shout out to him. He pulled through, had a great year, 10-2 in the playoffs. Just slightly short, man. Just slightly short. And if you're Oklahoma, man, I do think you did find it. Or if you're Alabama, you definitely found a diamond in the rough with what's his name, Brooks, number 17. I mean, talk about a true freshman to step up on the biggest stage. Ryan Williams, move over, because you just got your spot taken. You just got your receptions taken by a true freshman because you can't catch the ball. The downfall of Ryan Williams needs to be steadied, man. Like, I'm not trying to be like that, but this is a guy who people were literally saying he was better than. People were comparing him and Jeremiah Smith last year, and a lot of people were saying him over Jeremiah Smith. A lot. I was never one of those people. Jeremiah Smith is a generational talent, and I didn't think Ryan Williams was better than him. But what has happened? This is a guy who can't even catch the ball, and like his dropped passes are bad. Like they are bad. Like the one he had in the SEC championship game, where he tried to high point it, and it literally just like he can't track the ball. He can't track the ball. The amount of times the ball just goes straight through his hands is insane. And like the one that he dropped against Oklahoma, like the way he tried to like catch it like that, and it's like, bro, like use your hands. Why are you using your arms? I don't get it, man. I'm not a wide receiver coach, but I don't think they teach you to catch with your forearms, like falling backwards. Like, I don't know. It's insane. But Brooks, that's definitely because they've needed somebody else to step up. You know, Bernard, he's been kind of like the number one option. Cuevas has been hurt in the last couple games. They've needed somebody desperately to step up with the struggles of Ryan Williams. And Brooks, he was just everywhere, had 2 touchdowns. And that's definitely something that you should probably keep your eye on moving forward, is the production that he has and how much they use him going into the Indiana game. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to talk about. We got Ohio State versus Indiana, or Ohio State versus Miami. We have Alabama versus Indiana. We have Ole Miss versus Georgia. And then we have Oregon versus Texas Tech. We are going to preview all those games, obviously, probably towards the end of this week. Man. Early, just saying stuff. I just don't see how Alabama can hang with Indiana the way Alabama's been playing. Because I think the difference is that if Alabama goes down 17-0 like that against Indiana, I don't think Indiana's going to be dropping punts, and Mendoza's going to be throwing pick sixes, because Indiana's a team, when they get on you, when they get that lead, they step on your throat. Oregon, Texas Tech, I am so excited to watch that game. The run offense of Oregon versus the run defense of Texas Tech. That's a top 5. I think that's like the number 1 or 2 defensive team in the country. Run defensive team in the country versus Oregon, who has like a 3-headed monster who can just take over with Davidson, Whittingham, and I think Johnson, the freshman. I had a bet for Noah Whittingham to score an anytime touchdown. These guys scored 50 points, and he didn't score a touchdown. I cashed out because I saw what was coming, but that just goes to show like the depth that Oregon has. Like, I'm pretty sure he's the starter. Like, Noah Whittingham is the starter. But maybe because they wanted to keep him fresh, I don't know, but they have 3 guys who can each at any game be the leading rusher of the game. So that's going to be something interesting to look at. Georgia, Ole Miss, another rematch. Georgia's playing peak football right now, playing the best football of the season. Does the Golding or Pete Golding coaching present, big mix match? Not having Lane Kiffin there, a first-time coach in that position versus a Georgia team who is an extremely well-coached team. I don't know, man. I don't know. So we will have to see all that. As always, I appreciate you guys for listening. If you have made it this far, again, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you on the next preview, man.